Okay. Be very privileged to know we are indeed recording this call. Right. Hi, welcome everybody to our Sunday session, our first Sunday session of June. Love it. Can you even believe that we're halfway through the year already? How on earth did that happen? So you have got the pleasure of myself and my fabulous fellow new regional vice president, Robyn Lee, to take you through your training this evening. So for those of you who I've yet to meet, my name is Sar Spindle. I am a very, very, very proud Arbonne consultant and brand new regional vice president as of 6 days ago. Eek. So exciting. And what we're going to do tonight is we're actually going to share with you some of our journeys, some of our top tips. I'm going to kind of focus a little bit more on my growth and my journey over the last 5 years, because it's been, a good long time. And Robyn's going to focus on something a little bit different from her kind of just over 12 months in this business. So you're going to get loads of different pointers. So make sure you've got lots of note-taking abilities, and we will crack straight on. So what I would say is that for the first, I'm just going to be really brutally honest with you as well, because I think that's really important. And, I absolutely love my team, and I love training all of you. And I just think it's really important to know that I am honest, and I am going to be really clear about what's gone on in my journey over the last 5 years. But I'm saying it all with love, and I'm saying it because all I want to do is give you something that is going to help you grow and take your business to the next level. So if something goes, then no, that's good. It's a growing point, all right? So I'm actually going to give you 8 tips this evening with my journey throughout it. So my tip number 1, and this is my absolute biggest, most important, underline it, put it in capitals, you must grow you. Right? That is my first tip. And that theme will go throughout my entire 8 points. This is so very important, because it doesn't matter at what stage you come into this business, you're going to have things to learn, whether it's belief in you, whether it's learning about the industry because you never knew anything about network marketing before, whether it's learning about how to be a good leader, not a manager, whether it's learning about business skills, financial skills, money mindset, it doesn't matter. You are going to have to learn some new skill sets. So if you're sitting here thinking, first of all, I'm very proud of every single person that's on this call. You clearly want to learn, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. But if you think just getting on a couple of trainings a week is going to be enough, it's not. You've got to read every single day. You've got to devour personal development books. You've got to be on every single training possible. One of the girls in my team actually literally messaged me 10 minutes ago and was like, would it be okay if I get on some of the other areas trainings? I just want to learn more. That's a growth mindset. That's what you want to have. Yes, I am. So proud of you for asking, yes, can I get on more stuff? Be that keynote. I remember my older sister was like, you're such a keynote, Sars. And I was like, yes, because that's what you need and that's what it takes. So I started Arbonne, and I didn't do that at first, right? I really want you to know that. I was a massive reader of books like Harry Potter, right? I've read the whole season 6 or 7 times, okay? Proud of that. I've also read all of the Twilight Saga books, and they were my reading material pre-Arbonne. The first book Jess, my sister, gave me was GoPro. I read 1 chapter, and then I fell asleep. And then basically decided I didn't need this book because it was boring, right? Guess how many people I sponsored in my first 5 months? None. Not a single person. Why? Because my growth was not there. Nobody wanted to join someone that wasn't ready to grow. So if you're there and you're thinking, oh, I can do this without reading and I can do this without growing, absolutely not going to happen. You won't, and you'll just get frustrated and you'll get irritated and say that Arbonne doesn't work. But you have got to put the work into yourself. If you've ever listened to Sarah Dunning speak, she had to grow to become the leader that she is today. We all have to do that. So number 2, this is my number 2 tip. And again, this kind of comes into this, but be absolutely clear with the people that you were talking to about this business and with your team, what it actually takes to be successful. This is so vital. So here were some of my stories from year one, right? I did sponsor people in my first year. I sponsored 12 people in total. Not great, I'll be honest. That's actually only averaging out to one a month, not fast growing, that's for sure. And every single person quit within their first 4 weeks. So in my total first year at Arbonne, not a single consultant stayed with me. And you know why? It was me. It wasn't actually them. It was because I was attracting drippy people because I wasn't clear about what it takes to build an Arbonne business to a successful level. So I actually had one girl tell me that she was lazy. You know, when we ask people, you know, have you got a good work ethic? She was like, well, I'm actually a bit lazy. And I was like, don't worry, it'll be fine. I mean, come on. No wonder nobody stayed. Ridiculous. Because I didn't explain clearly enough, possibly because I was a bit nervous too, maybe because I wasn't doing enough to show what it took to be successful. So you've got to take a really, really good look at yourself right now. Some of you are on this incredibly powerhouse course, and some of you are moving slower. You've got to look at why that is. Is it because you are not being clear about what it takes? Is it because you are not growing yourself to that rate that you need to show other people how to be successful in this? There is not one person that joins my business and does not know work ethic is absolutely vital if you're going to have any success in this business. So what I would say is that is my absolute second massive top tip. Right? Work ethic, stress it. I must say, do you have a good work ethic? Or this business takes work about 100 times during every single presentation, just to be clear. Right. Tip number 3 is reach down and build relationships. So this is absolutely key to a successful business. So of my, I have 14 managers in my team, 4, not 14, that sounded a bit wrong. 14 managers, and 5 of them are direct to me. I only, though, sponsored one of those personally. The other 4 came through people that I sponsored, who sponsored someone, who sponsored some of them. Some of them are 5 or 6 people away from me. But what I did was I am absolutely, what I suppose what you call like a servant leader, right? I've read a lot of leadership books, and I love giving to my team. And so one of the things that I do, especially with new consultants, I will actually send a voice note to every new consultant in my team. I add them as a friend on Facebook the second they get added into the group, and I send them a voice note saying hello, just welcoming them, just giving that personal touch. And I will always continue to do that. And what that means is I'm building a relationship with everybody. So it doesn't matter who quits along the way, and people do quit. If you've reached down and you've built those relationships further down into your legs, you are going to have someone that stays, that you then can bring up and promote them to district, promote them to area, and then to VP. And that's what I've done all the way through my business. So that's a big thing, like get to know people really. So I remember hearing somebody say, know the color of their carpets. Now, obviously right now we can't really do that because we're not allowed in each other's houses, but know them that well that you know what they're about, you know who they are, you know the background, you know what drives them, you know their why. Because if you know all of those things, people don't quit on friendships. Okay, they don't. You've got to build those solid relationships. And I didn't do that in my first year of business because I was so busy focusing on myself and trying to figure out what on earth was going on with me that I didn't think about other people enough. So do that from the beginning and build those solid relationships right away. Tip number 4 is remove the option to quit, and put this one in capital letters as well. Because if you decide the second you start your Arbonne business, or from right now that you're listening to this, I will never quit, then you will never quit. And the only way you fail this business is if you actually quit it, right? If you just keep on going and you keep learning and you keep growing and you keep attending the trainings and you keep in activity, you will get there eventually, right? It might take 10 years and it might take 10 months, but you will. If you remove that option, if it's always there, well, I'll see how it goes, I'm just going to see what happens in the first year. That's you've still got that back door open. You've got to shut it, and you've got to decide right now, this is it. People used to say to me at the beginning of my business, are you still doing that thing? Yes, I am actually, and I will never stop doing that thing. This is my business. That's what I used to say. This is my business. I will always grow my business. People don't quit on things that they are invested in. So invest in it and make sure that that is, you know, I'm like Arbonne Green inside. That's what you want to get to that point. So what I would say is that if you decide every single day to do the activity, and every single day when something challenges you, you don't quit, you're going to build your self-esteem. You're going to build your resilience, right? If you decide, well, you know, I'll just leave it till that day, or I'll leave it till the next day, you're going to become the person that quits and walks away when it gets hard. Don't do that to yourself, because you'll do it in every other area of your life if you do it in Arbonne. No other area is different. If you decide to join a gym and you quit the gym, you're going to quit other things. Be the person that stays, because those are the people that are successful. The one that perseveres. And a very wise lady said earlier today, Miss Sian Houghton, said, basically, why would you persist if you're not then going to be consistent? Why go for something so hard just for a short amount of time and then stop? So be persistent and consistent. Do both, right? This business teaches you such resilience, and it will filter into every area of your life. So really know that. This is going to teach you the most incredible skills and give you the most amazing education you will never get from anywhere else. I am a changed person from the last 5 years of Arbonne, and I had a career for 9 years before that. I studied at university for 4 years, and never ever have I learned what I've learned in the last 5 years in Arbonne. You are literally in the right place. Seriously. Right, tip number 5. Another very important tip. They're all very important, to be honest. Right. Be what you wish to attract. If you are not the qualities that you are looking for in a business partner, how are you ever going to attract them? If you want like coachable, likable, positive, driven, success-minded people, you've got to be those things. You have to go first. Otherwise, you're not attracting those people. That's why I was attracting these wishy-washy drips in my first year, because I was being a wishy-washy drip. So reflect. One of my actions for you is take some time after this call and decide what are the 5 or 6 qualities that you want in a business partner, and then be so objective. And if you can't be as objective with yourself, ask your upline. They'll be honest with you. Ask them, am I being these things? Because if you are, great, you're on the right lines. And if you're not, you've got to grow them. You've got to change, and you've got to make sure that you become those things, because otherwise you will never, ever get what you want. Right, tip number 6 is never stop growing. So I've been doing this business for 5 years, and there are still so many things that I do not know. I will continue to grow and continue to learn. I read 2 or 3 books a month. In my first year, I read 5 books. Oh, hold on. Sorry, something just clicked up on the screen. Yeah, first year, 5 books. Not enough. That wasn't, I don't even know what that's, a half a book every like 2 months. Not enough growth, right? Now I'm on the 2 to 3 books a month, and I actually keep track. Like, it's something that I actually invest tracking time in to make sure that I am really, really developing and growing in those skill areas that I need more work in. And you've got to be really reflective in that way. Like, what are you learning? What are you working on that is developing you, getting you closer to your goals, making you a better leader? So in my first year of business, I had to really look at what I was being, like, what was I doing? What was I learning? And it wasn't enough. It really, really wasn't. I lost my why. I didn't know what was driving me anymore. And so I wasn't really doing enough. So you've got to keep going back and looking at what your why is. Keep reflecting. It's going to change as you go and as you grow more through this business. When you achieve a why, you need a new one. You can't just kind of keep plodding along on the same ideas the whole time, because you'll never push forward. And I think that was a big part of me staying area for so long. I was an area manager for nearly 3 years. And yeah, I was really proud of myself when I got there. But then I didn't feel like, I kind of felt like I was stuck. And you're not stuck. You decide whether you move. And I just didn't grow enough in that first year or so to move quickly. That was my issue. It was absolutely on me. It wasn't on my team. It wasn't on anybody else. It certainly wasn't on my upline, and it definitely wasn't Arbonne. It was me. So you've got to be aware of that and constantly be thinking, what else can I do? Where else can I go? And where else can I grow? Right. Tip number 7, grit, grit, grit. The absolute word of my biggest word of my vocabulary actually is grit, right? I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of my numbers here and a bit of what happened to me in my first year. So on paper, as I explained, in my first 12 months, I read 5 books, sponsored 12 people, none of them stayed, right? So by month 12, I promoted a district quite quickly because I was good with preferred clients, right? Not with consultants. And at the month 12, I actually dropped my district, right? And I had a decision. Quit or keep on going, right? And you have got, at some point in your business, it might not be that you drop a level, but something will happen and something will challenge you, and you have to decide at that point, quit or keep going. Which are you going to decide? Clearly, I chose to keep going, right? And there was a couple of reasons why. Number 1, absolutely no flipping way was I going to make every single person that doubted me be right. No way, right? My husband was a massive Arbonne hater. Huge, like the haterist, okay? My friends that I'd grown up with were so unsupportive. None of them even tried a product or heard about the business. And they actually called me, my sisters and my mum, the Cohen cult. Right? They were not nice. We had so much negativity. I know, right? Ew. So much negativity from people around us. Every single time I saw any of those girls, they either asked me nothing about what I was doing, or they would say, and in this kind of way, have you got your Merc yet? So here's my absolute tip for you, right? I haven't had an easy journey, and I really want you to know that. And there'll be some of you sitting there and you're like, oh, it's so easy breezy, this is great. It won't always be. And there'll be some of you that are sitting there going, oh my God, I'm so relating to this. I have horrible people around me and they're so mean. Know that you have got the grit. Decide to have the grit to get through it, because you can. You just have to decide. Go and prove them wrong. And basically, do not engage in this rubbish as well. So I decided, this is a side tip of part 2 of this tip, is just don't engage in the energy. You've got to rise above it. Be such a bigger person, because it doesn't serve you at all. I actually let it fuel me. And every time one of them said that, I would just say, no, not yet, but I am a day closer. Okay, little tip for you. And guess how many people I'll be beeping next week when my little Merc arrives. So that's the thing, I made that point to be like, I am literally going to prove you all wrong. And totally compliant all the way, I promise, with the Mercedes-Benz beeping. And then number 2, I wasn't going to let that be my story. The girl that quit, or the guy that quit, is that what you want your story and your next chapter to be? She quit. Absolutely not. Never. Not absolutely in my vocabulary. So every single time you push through a challenge, know that you are going to write a better, newer chapter of your story. Every single time you do that, you're going to build a block of self-esteem and belief in yourself that will mean everything to you. Be that for yourself. Only you are going to build those belief blocks. Everyone else can tell you they believe in you, but it doesn't mean it until you do it. And every single time you keep going and you bounce back and you get a no, you basically build this little extra superpower armor, this Arbonne ninja power. And it becomes so bulletproof that absolutely nothing gets past it. And that's where you want to be. But that takes work, and it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes consistent growth. But if I can do it, I promise you, you can too. And I've got one more tip for you. I know I haven't, I've got two more. Sorry, Rob, is this? Oh, I'm perfect on timing. Right. Second to last tip, I've lost numbers, I'm sorry. If you know which number we're on, just tell me. Okay, so this one is grow width. Tip number 8, got it. Right, grow width and never, ever, ever stop sponsoring. So I've sponsored 74 people in my years in Arbonne, and I'm still going. I will not stop, right? I listened to a Sarah Dunning call the other day, and she sponsored 150 people, right? So I'm only at the halfway point of where she is. And it's about right, because I've been doing Arbonne for 5.5 years, and I think she's coming up to like her 11th or 12th year. So just know, if you're sat there and you've been in this business for like a month or 3 months or even a year, just know you're not done. There are billions of people out there, and you can just go and ask them. That's all you've got to do. Just keep asking, keep talking to people about this incredible business. As you grow yourself, you're going to find those ninjas. You are going to start attracting them, right? You will. My first area, Alexia, did not come into my business until a year ago. Please know that. And now I've got 2 and about to be a 3rd one. And then a 4th. Like, they're all coming now, and it's all the work that I've done over the last few years is now compounding. So please do not quit before payday. All right, just keep sponsoring. And my last tip, which Robyn is going to then take over from, is please do it faster than I did. Right? Seriously, I could have squashed all the 5 years of work that I've done into a year, but I didn't, right? I wasn't always consistent. I didn't always read enough. I didn't grow quickly enough. So let my hindsight be your foresight. Move quicker, all right? Just run. This business is so fun, and you will see the results from the work that you do when you are consistent as well, all right? So just go faster than me, because I am not a quick story, right? I am gritty, but I am not quick. And now I'm going to hand you over to the beautiful Robyn, who is both gritty and fast.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that, Sar. So I'm very excited to follow on from that and basically tell you about strategy. So you've got all the mindset tips, and now I want to kind of build on that and give you the strategy in terms of building an area. But before, not an area, a region. Region. But before I do, I really just want to tell you what I was doing other than Arbonne throughout April and May. So again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Robyn Lee, and I'm now a very, very, very proud Regional Vice President with Arbonne. And that has obviously happened over the last couple of months. So alongside doing Arbonne in these last 2 months, I was doing nutrition calls with clients every week, podcast episodes, which is recording, checking edits, and putting them on social media, working full-time as a commercial director for a property company, all HR related activities and drums, including all of the documents and letters and resource that everyone needed for going on furlough, telling everyone they're going on furlough, all that, all communication throughout, opening a restaurant on Deliveroo, obviously online. I had 5 days booked off all of that for GTC in May, which I just kept to because obviously we weren't going, but I wanted to keep those days off. Throughout that time, I did an average of about 16 to 18 calls per day, and I had no days off Arbonne for the last 2 months. Well, and more, but specifically the last 2 months. What I did not do is speak to my friends very much, watch any TV. I didn't have any dancing because I also compete in dancing, but obviously I'm not dancing right now. Usually I would spend about 10 hours a week on dancing. I didn't go to the gym, obviously. Usually I would spend about 14 hours a week in the gym. So then there are obviously all the other normal things that I didn't do, which, you know, we'll all have in common, like socializing, going out for dinner, going shopping, commuting to work. And the main thing that I want to tell you throughout all of that is that I absolutely loved it. So that is why I did it, not because anyone forced me to or because I felt pressure. I just loved it. So my first task for you is work out the hours that you spent on things pre-lockdown and what have you replaced that time with? Because for some of you, it will be with Arbonne, But for others, it will be social media scrolling, even without realizing it. Or for some, it will be like extra sleep or extra whatever. So what have you replaced your pre-lockdown time with? Because it's passed anyway. The time has passed. So what have you filled it with? And if you are still in full lockdown, take that into the next few weeks and change it if you wish, if you want to, if you need to. And in line with Sar's kind of honesty claim at the start, I'm going to do the exact same things. I'm going to be hitting you with you love punches here as well. I also want to say as well that I know I don't have any kids and I don't know what it's like to homeschool kids. So feel free for everyone to kind of take that into consideration, because I really do feel for you, every single one of you who are doing that, homeschooling your children. I could never understand coronavirus with children, so forgive me if I'm annoying you with my abundance of time, flexibility and choice, but hopefully you can use Sar as an example, because even with kids this is still possible. And you might be listening to that list of stuff that I've been doing and think, oh, I would never want to do that with my time of lockdown, and that's absolutely fine, so don't do it. But this is what I did, so that's what I want to tell you. So as I've told you, we've got a dancing background. So the strategy training today is all about your show. So you have been asked to put on your favorite show. You've got the pool of the entire world of actors, dancers, the orchestra, the set builders, the lighting crew, the makeup, the hairdressers, the costume team, and you need everyone for the show to go ahead. So this is the same for you building your district, your area and your region. And I'm going to give you 10 steps to actually take you to your insane show. So step one is a very easy one because it's already been done for you, and it's write the script. So we've got the script, it's already been done for us. You've got the script, you've got the storyline, you've got the website, you've got the success stories, you've got the Instagrams, you've got the videos, which are now back on Instagram. You've got the most insane foundations already. So remember that and be grateful for that every single day, because that is so rare in business. So step number one, that was an easy one. You've already got all of that. Then step number two is find your best cast. Like, you need your absolute A list. And do you think that Andrew Lloyd Webber creates a show and then thinks, which people really need this show because it's going to like save their acting career? Or like, which people really need to be in this show because they're actually struggling to pay their rent right now? No, he doesn't. He thinks, who is going to be the best singer or dancer or actor or makeup artist or whoever and play my leading roles and be part of my incredible show, because he thinks they would be honored to be in my show because I am Andrew Lloyd friggin' Webber and I am amazing. So that's what I want you to think. He also knows that he will be an incredible support to them throughout their time in his show. But not only that, he knows that he'll have an amazing choreographer, a singing coach, and other trainers as they go through the creation of that show. So whether you're starting out in Arbonne today, or whether you're pushing for a new goal in your business, or whether you've been doing this for 5 years, I want you to really reflect on the people who you're asking to do this business with you. Are you looking for people who you feel comfortable asking, who you feel you can save, and who you really need to be picked up off the floor? Or are you trying to drag people along with you who have been in your show before and clearly have no interest in continuing to be part of it? And I really challenge you to choose your A-list. Who are the people who you may even feel a little bit uncomfortable with asking to take a look at this business, but who you know that you just can't not ask? Because if you have your whole A-list put together, they will make the most incredible show. So I want you to think of the following categories and write them down as they come into your head. So who is the most hardworking and dedicated person you've ever worked for? You personally, who have you ever worked for who's the most hardworking and dedicated? Put them on your list, and have you spoken to them? Who is the busiest person that you know? Go and speak to them. Who is the kindest person that you know? Go and speak to them. Who is the most fun and energetic person that you know? And then finally, who is the most business-minded person that you know? So that's 5 people who I bet you haven't spoken to. I want you to go and speak to them, because that is the start of your A-list. It's not all the other people who, like Sar was kind of referring to before. So spend 30 to 60 minutes on your list, like today, tonight, or tomorrow, whatever. Give it a refresh and go and ask those people. And The next thing on the people is that we need to be sensitive to the current climate and the political issues that are plaguing the world right now. So you have no idea, and neither do I, of how other people have been affected by coronavirus and by George Floyd's death and the Black Lives Matter movement. So just be sensitive. And if you don't feel comfortable saying it, there's probably a reason why. So don't say it. And educate yourself, which we all need to do. I absolutely have been doing and need to do more of, and will continue to do so. And I'm going to post in the comments now some things that I've been speaking to Abby about. So thank you so much for you, Abby, for helping me with this. But basically, have a look at these things. And I'm also going to put these in the Facebook groups and just educate yourself, because, you know, we have to be sensitive to the fact that, you know, I know that I'm white, I'm like privileged person, and I'm not going to pretend to be otherwise, but I'm absolutely fully on board with everything that's going on at the moment, fully supportive of Black Lives Matter, and just basically be sensitive. So that's kind of my second point on that. Okay, back to my show, or your show, should I say. So step number 3, who's auditioning who here? And when you have that shiny new A-list that you're speaking to, you have to know that there are other options for those people, because the best people always have other options. So you know that they're auditioning you as just as much as you're auditioning them. So show up like the vision that you know Arbonne is. Show up like someone who they want to join. Show up like Andrew Lloyd Webber or like an ENVP. I would never do a call in bed. I would never do a call with scruffy hair, scruffy makeup, or clothes. I mean, or scruffy clothes, not all clothes. I do wear clothes. I would never do a call with distractions. And it doesn't matter if it's your best friend or if it's someone who you've just met on Instagram. Let them see that you take this business as seriously as you actually do. And the same applies to training. Like, I can't even see any of you right now, but if you're in bed, get out of bed. And if you don't do that, then maybe you don't take your business that seriously. Maybe that's a bit of a, yeah, I actually don't. So just, that's okay. You can change that from now. So get out of bed, show up for your people. If they are giving you their time to hear about your business, respect theirs and show up like an MVP. Step 4 is, whilst you are building your incredible cast, you need the chorus and you need the backstage crew. So you can't have a show without these guys, and everybody plays their part. And it's exactly the same within your business. Not everyone wants to spend hours and hours and hours learning their lines or learning their routines or going over and over it again, or not watching any TV, or, you know, not everyone wants to practice day in, day out. They want to be involved because they love the industry, but not in the same way that you do. So this is where you love these people in your team where they are, you give them what they need, and you let them find their way when they are ready and when they decide to do so. Some people need more personal development. We all have blocks and we have to work through them. And it's not our job to force people to move quicker than they want to or than they're ready to do. And I know that we can say ready is a lie, but you can't make someone else ready. They have to decide that for themselves. Step number 5, things will go wrong. They just will. And when they do, are you making decisions based on facts and logical thought, or reaction and emotion? So what I want you to do and to try is to lower your expectations of others and raise your expectations of yourself, because then you are never going to be caught off guard and no one will ever let you down. So do you get angry with people before looking in the mirror and sort of figuring out what else you could have done? So, you know, going back to your show, what if your main character breaks their leg? This happens. You know, this is not the time to drag the lighting man out of the wings and ask him to sing the finale. He will absolutely not be ready for this, and he'll just get scared, run away, and never want anything to do with Andrew Lloyd Webber or his shows ever again. So just remember that we all have a role to play in the wider goal. And we can change roles, we can move, but only when we have made the decision to do so. So don't expect your curtain guy to take center stage when that wasn't their goal this month. And don't get annoyed when they don't want to do it, because it wasn't their goal this month. And don't blame them when they didn't do it, because that wasn't their goal this month. So just because you now need to fulfill a certain part of your goal doesn't mean that they will or they can. And it doesn't mean they want to, which is also my next point as well. So really, really love every single person where they are and have a relevant and fair plan to protect your own goals and their business as well. I'm not saying have a realistic plan, because we know that realistic doesn't exist, but really just be fair, and be fair on your team, and don't put expectations on them that fuel your own desires and goals above theirs. And when someone who's a key player doesn't seem to be quite feeling it this month, don't get annoyed because you relied on them. Get sponsoring. And make sure you continue to sponsor. So if your lead character breaks their leg, you've got an understudy waiting to jump in and help you out and help them out, and everybody wins together. So make sure that you more than cover your own goals and turn yourself into a millipede and get growing those legs. So my next tip, step 6, is embrace time leverage like never before and protect your time. So I'm going to tell you about a little story that I had when I was at university in Nottingham, and my mum was making me a dancing dress. So I basically had one day, not even like an overnight, I had one day in which she could have made this dress for me. I was busy, I was working, I was president of Dance Society. I also had a show that I was in Tenerife every other week, flying backwards and forwards. I had one day. So I got in my car, started driving to Manchester from Nottingham, and I got stuck in behind a crash. And I couldn't turn around because I was literally like on a road that wasn't going anywhere. And I was sat there for 5 hours. I didn't have anything else to do. I had my phone, obviously it ran out of battery. I didn't have anything else. I didn't even have any books or anything. So my tip for you, based on my ridiculous story of being stuck behind a crash, is always have a plan B for your time, because then nobody can waste it. Because I sat there being angry at this, whatever has happened, because of how it was affecting my life. Very selfish. Obviously, there was a crash going on. But if I'd just been prepared and had something else to do, a plan B for my time, I would have been fine. So yeah, literally 5 hours, had to then turn around and go back. So anyway, that was that. Have a plan B for your time. And in terms of using the time leverage aspect, you wouldn't train each cast member individually until the show day. So don't do the same with your Arbonne business. And there are certain things that everyone needs, and actually doing them as a group activity will be more effective and more beneficial than doing them individually. So do it and do more. For example, DAs. So I did a DA every single night throughout April and May, and will continue to do so for the entire year. Did I always want to? Absolutely not. But I showed up and I did it anyway. Save for about 3 occasions, I did it every single day, and I have done for the last 2 months. So DAs, get on them, get your teams on them, do your own, get out of your comfort zone, go for it. The next one is blitzes. They don't always need to be run by you, but they are a hugely beneficial tool, and you know how insane that vibe is when everyone's on it together, so get blitzing. And then attend the training yourself. That's obviously the first thing, but make sure your team do the same. Also, for me, I write down who's on the training, because if you're not able to carve out 30 minutes of your day on a Sunday and a Wednesday when I do training for my team for your own goals and your team, why should I carve out 30 minutes on a Tuesday lunchtime when it suits you? Sorry, that's the reality. Then use the getting started training. It's at 4 p.m. every Saturday. Do you think Jess and Georgia are like buzzing out of their seats before that every Saturday? I'm sure they're not, but they do it anyway. So get your team on it and get yourself on it. Like, Jess and Georgia are both in Nation Qual. Like, I want to listen to them at every single opportunity. So get there and listen to them and bring your whole team with you. And just please don't think you can do it without the training. You just absolutely can't. Like, it's a non-starter. So utilize the training, get behind time leverage, and just absolutely embrace it. Step 7 is be an incredible leader. No one was born a leader. You know, you might say like, oh, but they're a natural born leader. No, they weren't. No one popped out of the womb with a microphone in their hand, a crowd and an applause. We all start out the exact same, and we are all capable of learning how to be a fantastic leader. And I want to give you another analogy back with my mate Andrew. So Andrew Lloyd Webber doesn't go over to Quentin Tarantino, have a discussion, and then think, oh my God, I should have put way more fight scenes in. I should have put more blood and swords and gangsters in my Cats film. No, he knows that they are both amazing directors. They both have amazing shows, but they are entirely different. And that's why they're both incredible leaders. And our businesses are the same in that they are different. So just remember that all of our businesses are different. All of our team are made up differently. They're set out differently. So it doesn't matter how many districts or areas you have when you go in region, or how many this, that, and the other. There's no need to compare yourself. You still may have to focus on different levels of activity in different areas of your business. So look at your team and see what you need. And also see what fits in with your life. You know, do you need to sponsor, or do you need to nourish? You can't sponsor 15 people if you've already got 15 key players who absolutely need you and are kind of gunning for their goals as well. So, you know, then you're spreading yourself too thin and no one really gets what they need and everything kind of flops. So be really savvy and make sure that you aim to find that balance between new and current, because also, you know, going back to my previous point, you don't want to rely on anyone and say it was their fault, because it's not, but also don't spread yourself too thin. And, you know, be aware, you hear it all the time, that activity is always the same within Arbonne, but the percentages change. So when I was going area, I sent 50 messages to new prospects every day. That was my commitment. Now, if I sent 50 messages a day, I would never even speak to my team, because that's just, I can't fit that into my life. It's too much for me. You may be different. So develop your ability to understand what your team needs and really just understand that, and then like go all in on that and get the balance. And then the next thing in terms of being an incredible leader is really grow your own competence to be the best player on your team. So do it all yourself. Everything you expect them to do it all yourself, and like be the trailblazer. So something that I heard on a SoundCloud today, which I absolutely loved, is know the way, show the way, and go the way, and bring everybody with you to do that. This is how your team will trust you. It's how they will work for you, and it's how they will want to put the most insane show on for themselves and for you. Because you never want there to even be a second where anyone in your team thinks, well, why should I do it for her? She's not even doing it. Like, we win together, and that's what we do in this business. It's all about us everybody doing it together. And that comes from the leadership, from the trust. Then step number 8, which I feel like you'll love, is who is watching the show. So you don't want everyone in the show or backstage, because who's going to watch the show, and who's going to love the show, and who's going to cheer you all on? And just going on from the point that Sar made about friends, I actually had someone today that we did a one-to-one with, and they were like, I'm just going to go and check with my friends and see what they think and, you know, sound them out. And I was like, no, because I want to tell you that out of the grand total of what my friends have bought from me in this business, just get yourself ready for this. One eyeliner. I'm not even joking. One eyeliner. Do you think that one person that bought one eyeliner from me has built me a region? Absolutely not. So your friends, even if they are 100% supportive, are not going to build you a region or a nation. They're not even going to build you a district. And if they're unsupportive, then clearly they're not going to do anything. So it just doesn't matter. You need to just embrace the skills. It's nothing to do with having supportive friends or not. So that's the first point. But obviously you do need that audience. So remember when you were younger and you probably got dragged to a hobby or to be in a show that you had to do boring rehearsals for, and you sat there like that you just hated it, or you skived it. You know, I used to do that all the time when I didn't really want to do things. So if someone said to those kids, or, you know, you as a former kid, maybe you just want to watch the show instead, they'd be like, halla friggin' Luya, and they'd love it. So do you have anyone on your team who you've dragged there, or who's been dragged there by someone else, or who you're trying to drag there? You know, maybe you speak to some people and they just want to use the products. They just want to love the products and they don't want to build a business. Let them become a PC. Let them absolutely love their involvement in your business in that way. They are your audience. They're cheering you on. They are your PCs. You need your PCs, and you literally can't function without them, because they are the backbone to your business, and they are consumers who love the product but just don't really want to build a business with it. That's something that I used to forget when I first started, but I'm all over that now. So yeah, that's going to also increase your PQV, and it's going to increase your PCs, which is fab. So over the last couple of months, I went back to my older PCs and kept in touch with them, asked them how they were finding the products, checked in with them, and upsold the majority of them using the May Bank Holiday event, which is obviously still there. So really, really remember about your audience. They are a key member of your show. Okay, step number 9 is the show must go on, or must it? How much do you actually believe that with your show? So if Andrew Lloyd Webber had a show and every single cast member quit, every single tech person got offered a better job down the road, and even the theatre was like, no, not for us this time, like, you're good, thanks, try again next year, would he be like, oh, well, tried it, never mind, didn't work, I'll just get a job in Tesco? No, he would not. So even if every single person on your team doesn't hit their goal, doesn't even want to do the business anymore, or if they all quit, or if they all turn against you, or whatever, learn from it. Learn what it means about you. Learn what it means about your business, and carry on and do it again and try again. Which leads me to my final point, step 10, which is practice, 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 practice. The only way to get to your goal and your district or your area or your region is to keep practicing. And even as we know, the best of the best of the best put in hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, because that's all it is. That's all Arbonne is just keep going and keep going and keep going. Like, that's all it is. So, you know, we finish on the same point, Sar and I, is that don't you dare quit. Keep going. Practice, practice, practice. So to summarize your show, 10 steps. Step 1, write the script. Step 2, find your best cast. Step 3, who's auditioning who? Because there's a bit of both, remember that. Step 4, while you're building your cast, you need the chorus and you need the backstage crew. Step 5, things will go wrong, and how are you dealing with that? Step 6, embrace time leverage like never before and protect your time. Step 7, be an incredible leader. Step 8, who is watching the show? Step 9, the show must go on. And step 10, practice, 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 practice.